about it. It's believed that a 23-year-old pregnant mother was killed by her boyfriend after she refused his request to abort their child. And also, this is part that they don't really share in the major news outlets, but some are saying it's also after she disrespected the boyfriend on social media, reportedly saying things like and posting things like I'm going to ruin your life, and I guess talking about the child that she was pregnant with. This is all speculation. There's no one that's saying that this is absolutely what took place. To add to this already tragic situation, the young lady, like I said, was not only pregnant, but she was the mother of a 3-year-old. The boyfriend at the time, he was not the parent of the 3-year-old. The mother was shot in the head, point blank range, and the 3-year-old was also shot in the head. The 3-year-old, the mother died. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The 3-year-old is in critical but stable condition. He reportedly lost an eye, but he's doing better than the doctors thought that he would be doing. I read one article where they say he was asking for juice, that he even made up a song about juice, asking for family members and things of that nature, just doing, little 3-year-old things, which is a good sign after something like that happens to, to anybody. We had this post on our Facebook group, and the question was, what are some of the things we can do in order to avoid these results? And this is always a touchy situation. And me, I'm a little different. I'm able to talk about all types of different things, even in the moment, like right when they're happening, right after they happened, or what have you. So some would shy away from certain topics. Some would, and I want to try to choose my words carefully, and I don't want to blame the victim. What I'm trying to do here is prevent. The question is, how can we prevent these things from happening to other people, other young ladies and such? Some of the things that I left out was that the boyfriend had a long criminal history. He had ties to a gang, and part of his criminal history did include domestic abuse with the woman that he had already fathered a child with. So it's not, in my mind, it's not like it's tragic, it's bad, it's wrong, it shouldn't be done, but it's not far-fetched. It's not something that I couldn't fathom a person with this history doing.
Right.
I wouldn't want anybody to do that, but I would caution and I would say stay away. But I could be wrong. What do you guys think about this situation?
It's a real, like you said, it's a real touchy situation, and you don't know what would drive somebody to do something like that, of that magnitude, to a person and to a child. That's one thing. I don't know what would drive a person to do that. But the one thing I do want to say is just people's choice when they're going through situations or any problems, personal problems, family problems, problem with friends, whatever. Leave your business on social media. I'm not saying that's the cause of what of that, but I'm just talking about in all general. That he could probably say this. A lot of fights happen in school because of beefs on social media. People bringing their problems on social media. People always talking about these problems on social media, and you don't know what the taker, whoever they talking about may take that.
Right.
So that's one thing. Social media is a thing just about networking, posting pictures. Hey, I'm here. Stuff like that. It's not a platform to expose people dirty laundry, and that's what people do. And it turns out a lot of situations, a lot of instances just turn out bad. And I believe social media is a bad way to air dirty laundry. So
I have to agree.
That's what I mean. I don't know what would drive that guy to do that, but
right, we're not condoning his
exactly
behavior.
I just want to be clear. Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
That's a good point. We don't know all about the situation. I mean, we heard what we heard, but
Again, what would stop this thing from happening if they spoke one-on-one? Not as many people were involved, and the guy might not have been so embarrassed by the comments or what have you. But people have to learn to communicate. Both of these young people, they have to grow up a little bit. There's situations that really get us upset. We may not react the same way that this gentleman did, but we know that some females can say some things to get us angry and upset, but it's never appropriate to react with violence. And the same on his end. If he was a little more mature, he would realize that that's not the end of the world. There's a way out of this. Death is final. You got to have a respect for life. So young people, female and male, need to be taught the respect of life. When you have a lack of respect for life, you could just take a life and not blink, and think about it later. So
and he's ruined his life too.
Yeah, because he's done. He's going to jail.
See,
I for life. At that time, you see, whatever happened. But see, again, I have to go back now and think a little further back. Now, what's the woman's mindset to begin with in order to her to be dealing and having a relationship with this type of individual? Sometimes I think our kids glamorize, the thug life. She was living with this brother, if I'm not mistaken. When I read the article, she was actually living with him, and she reached out to a friend of hers about, there were some issues they were having.
Right.
So if you have an idea or that a person is in that criminal activity and they in that world or they about that life, that's the first issue that I think you have here is that you need to know who to choose, what type of person who's going to treat you properly. And regardless of what happened on social media, if she was more cautious from day one on the type of people that she wants to surround herself with, maybe this might not would have happened to her. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going as far back as her choice of deciding to have a relationship with this individual, her deciding to actually live with this individual. And that's where I take it from, because if you're in a relationship that's domestic, in a domestic violence relationship, then there's already been signs of some type of abuse. Why stay? That's how I look at it from day one. Regardless of what happened to social media, how do you prevent this? We might have to teach our queens that they are queens and they deserve better, and those are the type of people that you want to be around. You know what I mean? The thug life is anything can happen in that thug life.
I have to agree with the comments of all of you gentlemen. I know on our platform and on our Facebook group, we have a young lady that's always talking about. Well, she has a program. Remember, we had the guest on the program, Cynthia Walker. She was a guest on the program, and she runs a lot of programs regarding domestic abuse. Right. And we always have her posting on our Facebook group. If you are not a member already, and you want to join us in conversation and also pick up that information as far as where people can go to get help for domestic abuse and things of that nature, join our Facebook group. It's the Urban Renaissance Arts and Entertainment Group on Facebook. Become a member and just get in there with us, mix it up, chop it up with us. There's a good conversation. We joke, we laugh. We do a lot of serious stuff as well. So we encourage everyone to join. And
I wanted to hear your input, bro. I didn't,
I thought
you said you agree.
Yeah, but no, I definitely agree with all of you. Okay. And just piggybacking off what you said, it boils down to choices. Some of the people, and I'm guilty of this, but I still don't think that I'm wrong. Some of the people that are showing me certain things, I try to avoid. You know what I mean? Altogether, I try to avoid that because I don't want certain things in my life. And right now, it's not just me. I have a daughter. I don't want to get involved in certain activities, so I try to stay away from those individuals. And that's what I would recommend to other people as well. I don't know what made her want that type of individual, and we don't know what type of individual she was either. So
True.
she at this juncture, they're not going to say that she was in gang life or whatever the case may be. But that's the only thing that's as far as advice that I can give, because I'm always looking at prevention. And this gentleman, that's the term that Mr. Moody used for him, so I'm going to use that same term. This gentleman seemed to be very wild and untamed, and he behaved accordingly.
I got what you're saying. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So I'm not.
What do you expect from this type of individual?
I'm not minimizing.
Right,
I'm not saying it was okay. It was definitely wrong, but he behaved the way the people involved in those types of things behave, and that's why I tend to try to stay away from them if possible.
To jump in for a second, I want to clarify that, even though the gentleman was involved in a gang and at some point they had a decent relationship and they did what they did, we have to not take for granted or not take so lightly the issue of mental illness. I mean, because I know a lot of gang members, and we all do, and we know some that have a code, and they would not shoot a woman or a child, and that child is comes from them, and they want as many children as possible. We know some with 15 kids, they ain't killed none of them, or the baby mother. So, so some of this stuff is not always the thug life or the gang situation, but more of the mental health issues that so many of our people are walking around the street with. We don't realize that you get in a simple argument. That guy may have shot you over an argument that you cut him off on the street. So we got to really start to look at some of that in our community and encourage our people that it's okay to go get help for your thought process is irrational.
Definitely. Who was our guest that talked about mental health too? We just have a lot of good people.
We have a lot of good people, man. It's hard to remember a lot of them, but
did Christina was talking about that. Pagan.
Right. She did.
And she's a member of our group as well. It's a good place to be, folks. Make sure that you sign on as a member. Were you saying something, Todd? OBT?
No, I understand. I mean, it's real. It's real. I mean, the mental health issue is real, and I think that a lot of the places that were open for them, Christie already shut down and have them walk in the streets. It's a serious situation, man, and I'm quite sure if I look back and the way I acted as a young child, or I know that I had some issues as well. I could have been labeled as well for a lot of little crazy stuff I used to do in retrospect. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, you are.
I mean, I don't have total control over it, because every now and again you've witnessed a few things.
With positive peer culture, I bring you back.
He brought me back, and it's a serious thing, and but I think that we also have to take onus on what we do, man. We got to take responsibility of some of the things that we do, and even though our thought process may not be as smooth as everyone else's, but we have to be able to recognize when we're going through these things, I guess. You understand what I'm saying? Like when I was younger, I used to get angry and upset, and the only way I knew how to do was lash out. Mm-hmm. So instead of lashing out to others, and there was a lot of walls I had to learn how to plaster and fix, so then I had issues. So we have to learn how to redirect what we're feeling now. In regards to this situation, if the person, more than likely had mental illnesses or whatever going on, there had to be more than just this one issue. You understand what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
And then, like, again, I'll go back to choices again, that you have to understand where you are in that situation. And I mean, she might have pushed a button. If she was on social media, she probably knew how he may react. I'm not saying anybody deserved death, or even an unborn child, deserve death. And we have to learn how to be responsible for some of our actions, man. Everything's just, to me, is not just okay. You know what I'm saying? I understand we always talk about mental health, and it's a real issue. All right, it's a real issue, and I understand that, but we also have to, I don't like to always say that's the reason why. I just don't like to say that's the reason why. Some people are just evil. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.